Hey, how you doing? I'm making this follow-up video to the two I got put in jail today videos. And I just want to say thanks for all the people that have watched those videos. And thanks to all the people that have posted comments to those videos on YouTube and in the forums where they're located. And I also want to say thank you for the private emails that I've gotten from folks supporting me. And everyone else, I mean, because we're all in this together, I guess. So that was just, if anything's cool, that was really cool. So I just want to say thanks. And as part of this, kind of bring you up to speed on what's happened since I made those videos. It's been a few weeks or whatever. And one of the interesting things here, within 2 days, actually within 2 days, I got the court date from the court. So they were really quick about that, which was cool. But also within that 2-day period of time, I got all this mail from lawyers. And this, I don't know why it shocked me, because it shouldn't have, but it did. I got 19 separate promotional letters from attorneys. Let me know how they're there for me and how they can keep me out of jail and this, that, and the other thing. And you may think that some of these are duplicates in this pile, but they are all different attorneys. And if this alone doesn't show you that there's something up with this whole court thing and police thing and law thing, then I don't know what you need to show you that we're playing a weird commerce game here, man, and we don't even know it. Look at all this. This is all promotional material from attorneys who claim to not be part of the law society, the law system at all, who claim that they're there for you. But to hear Jordan Maxwell describe it in very clear terms out of Black's Law Dictionary, you're an idiot if you hire an attorney, because by law, if you hire an attorney, you're considered a client, and if you're considered a client, you're considered a ward of the court, and if you're considered a ward of the court, you're considered to have a mind of a child. So this is just further proof for me. All the postage, I'm checking myself out in the camera here, all the postage and printing that goes into this, and you want to know why? Because they make bank. One of the things I wanted to tell you about is that I got 2 attorney recommendations, one from a family member, one from a good friend of mine. And I spoke to both of them. And it was interesting because, or I feel it was interesting, because anytime I talk to an attorney, I ask them very pointed questions about the things that I've learned and researched on my own about the law society and how the law works and maritime admiralty law and artificial persons and natural persons and rights and common law and just all these different things. And they uniformly react in pretty much horror when I mention any of those sovereign-related type things. They can't stand that. You know, I had one of these 2 attorneys basically said, look, I don't do that kind of thing. I don't do that whole keep your rights upheld thing. I work within the court system. That's how I feed my family. And if you can deal with me on that level, I'll help you. If not, I won't. But he was kind of, I could tell that this one attorney was a little bit interested that I was bringing up these types of topics, because he said, look, come in and meet with me. And sometimes when I meet with folks in situations like you're describing and in this quote-unquote criminal trespass case, there are times when I tell people that I could charge money to just go represent themselves, that the case will likely be thrown out. So he seemed to respect that I had a certain level of intelligence that most people don't. I certainly don't consider myself a ward of the court or ward of the state or ward of anything other than what I consent to, and it's none of those. But the other guy, who I have to be frank, did give me some good advice in that he said, go down to the courthouse and sit in on some criminal proceedings, you know, in the pews or the benches or whatever the public seating is, and just watch and listen and see what's going on. But when it came to the truths about natural and artificial persons and consenting to turning to the court and things like allocution and maritime admiralty law and all of the things that most people would consider fairly esoteric, he just flat out said I'm wrong. I said, I'm quoting you out of Black's Law Dictionary. Nah, you're wrong. It's just wrong. And I said, okay, well, how much would it cost for your services? And he said, $5,000. $5,000. It's like he won a game show. I mean, he's probably drooling over the prospect of someone like me. Oh, I'll charge you $5,000. I couldn't believe it. And there are people that do it. You want to know how I know people do it? Look at all of this. Full color postcards. Two-sided, glossy, oversized postcards. Look at the letters, handwritten. I'm checking myself out in the camera view, sorry. Want to make sure I get it in view here. But that's how I know that people go for it. Nobody knows what they're talking about when it comes to the courts. Now, luckily, and I will say luckily, in this certain case, it turns out that my brother's brother-in-law is a city police officer here in the city and county where I was arrested for this allegedly, quote-unquote, criminal trespass. And the cops that arrested me were county cops and he's city cop. He actually knows and has worked with personally this county officer that arrested me. So he said that he would talk to her, which he did. And I really appreciated that because, you know, he gives me some honest insight into how police officers work and how this lady cop operates and that kind of thing. And he called me back after talking to her and said, she said that she didn't even subpoena anybody from the doctor's office or from the building at all, which means that the case will probably get thrown out. But then he said this, here's what you need to do. You need to go to court and you need to tell the court how sorry you are. And just let them know that you really, really, really apologize. And I said, well, hold on. Why? What am I apologizing for? I mean, he said, look, you know, you need to go and apologize to just make this thing go away. Because if you go in there acting like a jerk, or if you go in there raising a stink, the police officer is likely going to ask for a continuance, and then she'll have all the time she needs to get her ducks in a row and go subpoena whoever she wants to come make this thing stick. But I said, you know, that's part of the problem here. You know, I shouldn't need to go to make this thing go away. Why am I going to go in and kiss the boots of this court and say, oh, I'm so sorry for not doing anything? Why would I be sorry about going into court and sitting in a jail cell and getting arrested or, you know, virtually kidnapped because it was surely against my will? Why should I feel sorry about that? Shouldn't they be asking for my forgiveness? So in order for me to make this thing go away without the possibility of raising a stink, even though it's a completely unjustified, quote-unquote, alleged criminal trespass charge, I have to go into the court and say how sorry I am for getting arrested for no lawful reason. So, you know, it ended with him trying to give me some good advice and just saying, look, this is the way things are. But he doesn't know the research I've done. And frankly, he doesn't know this stuff either. Most police officers don't. They don't know the laws that they're enforcing. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on with it. And I haven't officially met with any attorneys. I'm going to just to get a feel for what they think is going to happen. I just thought it was interesting to point out all this freaking mail. Oops. And to point out the couple conversations I did have with attorneys and the quote that I got to actually help me in this case within the Law Society. And to let you know what my brother-in-law, or however you technically call him, my family member who is a cop, how he reacted to this and what he said after talking to the arresting officers, to me is pretty interesting stuff and is, from that perspective, making this all worthwhile because it's very much a learning experiential process here. From that perspective, this is all worth it. But the stark reality of it is I was unlawfully arrested and sat in jail for 6 hours, wasted a whole day, and then I'll have to go to court, and the time thinking about it and being upset about it and pissed and want to do something. From that perspective, nobody should have to go through it. But you know what? I'm willing to give up freedom momentarily and give up some time momentarily to reinforce my rights, and that is what's keeping me going. And of course, you watching this and offering your, support and advice and, go get 'em attitude, which is cool. So be sure to rate this video. Be sure to comment and pass it around if you don't mind. I sure do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you again soon, I guess. Hopefully with good news. Okay, see you later.